Alright, so new update, new patch notes, new character, Bardock, love to see it. Vegeto's now a tier 1 character. We're gonna look at hero trial change first. This is nice, I can play Bojack, but I'm at star level 147, so I can almost already get him. It's nice with, oh lord! Okay, okay. Uh, start off with the buffs. It's already very bad. It's already actually insanely bad.
Huh?
Sun Gohan, passive, friendship boost. Energy attack up effect.
Oh, them?
They buffed Kid Gohan. Energy attack up effect when ally hero is nearby.
Huh.
It's added by 500. Oh no, he gets an energy attack up now. Added onto his defense up. All defense up effect when ally heroes nearby increase to 500. His Masin Kayaku, fucking his skill 2 that stuns. Max time until fully charged decreased. It's now 0.9 seconds. Leave this to me! His skill 3, injury defense up to self and ally target hero on activation removed. So he does not get defense up. Injury defense down to enemies within barrier removed. So it's just a movement tool. His passive gives him energy attack up and defense up just a tiny bit more. His stun is quicker, but his damage burst is gone.
Hmm.
And his ability to keep his teammates alive while bursting bosses is gone. It's just a movement tool now. 18 got buffed from at level 1, 8,748 to 9,914, all the way to 17,963 to 20,000. This also means I now have 18's health values. Oob got buffed. He has more HP now. No, he has more HP in the early game, but he has less HP later in the game, whenever he's the
Hmm.
strongest. So just overall more balanced. Max number of obtainable Cyclone increase. This is insane. Using his skill 2, he would lose all of his Cyclone like that. That's insane. Obtainable Cyclone when Energy Blast hits a target increased, so now he can get his Cyclone quicker. Rush attack and shooting chaser range increased. An additional rush attack hit effect increased. So his Brutal Buster is now just overall better, right? His
Hmm.
skill 2,
Huh?
but because it's longer in the early game where it's harder for him to charge his Cyclone stacks, they buffed his Cyclone. And his skill 3 got buffed. His strongest skill besides his ultimate, his get out of jail free card, and most of his burst damage got buffed by 1.5 seconds. At max charge, you get 3 of these. So instead of 24 seconds overall, that's 19.5. That's insane. Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Everyone was talking about how fucking Topo, how would they buff him? Okay, how would they buff Topo? The only way to buff Topo without him
Oh,
being
them?
broken is to give his skill 3 no obstruction. He now has a fuck you button. Topo now has a fucking fuck you button. You can't just stun him out of it. You have to either out damage him and hope you can get rid of all that health or fucking run. It is legitimately a fuck you button. Okay, Nurse. Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This this patch is actually looking so good right now. First damage decrease and the follow-up damage decrease. This is actually really good.
Definitely
They just
better.
brought it down by 50 damage on the first hit, and the follow-up damage. This is actually insane. This being brought down too, yeah, this is so good. Not good for Super Saiyan 3 players, but Super Saiyan 3's. balanced. Broly adjustments. It would have been better if they buffed his skill 2 though. Okay, first passive. Time until despair gauge starts to deplete.
Hmm.
Decreased.
Huh?
Okay. It did last for a very long time. This is good. His skill 1. Despair gauge charge gain per hit decreased. So the more enemies you hit and the more you're hitting, it charges less. His despair gauge for 2 enemies charged way too quickly. His skill 3 roar cooldown decrease. And the despair gauge charge gain decreased by using the roar. It's not a huge decrease either. This just makes him more
Hmm.
balanced. Because his roar goes on a longer cooldown the more skills you give back, like you gain back. This is really
Definitely
good.
been a while.
Super Saiyan Trunks. Okay, he's better in the early game,
Huh.
he's worse in the late game. He was already very bad in the late game, so this isn't all that good. Like, he's very bad in the later game. He's like 18 now, but he's better in the early game now. Gamma 2. Okay, Gamma 2's movement speed up increased from 15 to 25%.
Huh?
I didn't even know there was a speed increase. The skill 1 strike damage decreased, which is really good because his skill 1 murders. His super attack special pose. Stagger effect on enemies hit when activating the he does not have a instant stagger. Immune to all effect to self on activation added. Okay. So he does not have a guaranteed AoE stun. They don't have that anymore. The skill 1 is does less damage,
Hmm.
which is a good change.
Huh?
Gamma 2's quicker now. And now we know specifically that Gamma 2 is quicker than Gamma 1. And they now have immune to all for 1.5 seconds.
Huh.
And while special post is active, range of rush attacks is increased. So now their rush attacks are bigger. Frieza, okay, his damage is decreased. The strike defense down is increased. Zarbon, this isn't a huge change because he's still doing insane damage, right? Skill 1 with the skill 3 boost is already
Hmm.
insane.
Huh?
But now it does more strike defense down. Duration of strike defense down is decreased though.
Definitely been a while.
Okay. So, because the strike defense down does stack.
Huh.
This is actually really good. Skill 2, buff it. They buff the damage just a little bit, but with strike defense down, he can properly hold tower and chip at bosses. Cooldown decreased. This is really good. While Imperial Decree, his third skill is active. Lunge speed scaling decreased. That either means
Hmm.
he dashes quicker or dashes slower. Either way, there's a good chance. Bosses, Ribrianne,
Oh, them?
boss HP increased. We now know boss HP. So she just has overall more health,
Huh.
which is good. Jacko, his HP got increased. Star Collection. Vegeto's in Tier 1. Updated hero unlock content, right? Super Saiyan 3 Goku is a Tier 2. Android 18 is a Tier 3. Improvements. Fixed text to clearly show the range of rush attack increases when special pose is active. We didn't know it
Hmm.
increases the range.
Huh?
This is for an already existing ability. Super Goku. Fixed text to clearly show damage increases once Kamehameha changes to instant transmission Kamehameha. It's for an already existing ability.
Huh.
This might be the best patch notes I have ever seen. Like, there could be better patch notes. Don't get me wrong. Gotenks did not get his ghost nerfs changed, but they reworked Gohan. Literally, I main Kale as a DPS, and everyone was hating on Kale specifically because of how good
Hmm.
Gohan is.
Huh?
He's now more self-sufficient. His only real energy damage is his ultimate. but the ultimate's still viable because it has a stun at the beginning and it's a very long activation. His ultimate's not broken. He can now survive for longer. He has NG attack up. His stun comes back quicker, but his stun isn't something that you can just get jump scared by, right? He cannot burst bosses anymore. He cannot keep his teammates alive through his skill 3, but he can use his skill 3 to warp
Huh?
quicker. This should have been in the rework.
Oh, them?
This is a buff, but this should have been in the rework because that's an overall nerf.
Huh.
Android 18, just a buff to her health. This just means she can do her whole cycle quicker, right? With more survivability. She already ran red cards, so this is amazing. This is great for her, especially later in the game. These oob buffs might make him the best DPS in the game. I'm not even gonna fucking lie.
Hmm.
Vegeta's not broken.
Huh?
Vegeta's not broken at all. So that new DLC doesn't matter, right? They reworked his health. They buffed his passive. They buffed the rate in which he can fill up his passive. Having 64 to 96 is actually insane. They boosted his skill 2, and they boosted his skill 3. You have to understand, his ultimate does more damage based on the amount of Cyclone you have. So not only are his rush attacks boosted for longer, his skill 2 activates
Hmm.
to boost his rush
Huh?
attacks for longer. His skill 3 to get the Cyclone is now
Oh, them?
recharging quicker. His skill 1 gives him his Cyclone quicker, and he has more Cyclone.
Huh.
Topo got no obstruction. I've been saying it for so long. I was telling D, I was telling fucking Jax, no obstruction is what you need on counters. Cell skill 3 needs no obstruction. But this is great. He's still not meta because he's a dot character, but this is great for him. His skill 3 actually can't just get cut.
Huh?
A whole entire nerf specifically to Super Kamehameha and IT Super Kamehameha while making Super Saiyan 3 a tier 2 character.
Huh.
He's balanced now. His Super Kamehameha is still going to be annoying, but you can't just wipe a whole team without them playing carelessly or you working with your own teammates. This adjustment on Broly is great because the spare gauge goes away quicker and the spare gauge overall charges up slower, but it's not all that much slower. And then the cooldown is decreased by 2 seconds on his roar,
Oh, them?
which means because that's great. His despair gauge was just a tool if his cooldowns weren't there. So his cooldown's coming back quicker, but the spare gauge being less important makes him less of a DOT character, which puts him more in the meta because DOT characters like the Bora and Topo suck. Trunks, they shouldn't have nerfed his early game health, they just boosted his late game health. Well, sorry, they shouldn't have nerfed his late game health and just
Hmm.
boosted his early game health, but this is
Huh?
great. A boost to his early game is amazing because that's where he's the weakest. Gamma 2 is quicker. Gamma 1's fucking the skill 1 Gamma Strike does less damage. They don't have a huge ass AoE stun that he can then use to sacrifice Gamma 2 with a Gotenks donut and guarantee a 4-hit core breaker, which is something that you could do if you're playing Gamma 2 with a teammate playing Gotenks. But they're immune. It is a get off me tool.
Hmm.
Zarbon it pairs better with the Doria, which is something that if you look at the kit, you think that they should be doing, but it's really not. The Dodoria has more of a purpose now. Bosses have more health. So even with Gohan being nerfed, like even with the boss explosion of his skill 3, being taken away. Fucking, this is great. Bosses needed more help. Super Saiyan 2, after getting nerfed, is now a tier 2 character.
Hmm.
And they fixed
Huh?
what these say. Specifically, we are going.
This is what I call super.
It doesn't say anything specifically. Becomes ancient transmission Kamehameha, allowing for a fully charged, increased damage super Kamehameha. Right there. Increased damage. I don't think it said that beforehand. You have to look at the patch notes to know that IT Kamehameha did more damage. This is great. More clarity in the game, less boss explosion, which is already really prevalent. Brought Oob a rush attack character
Huh?
more into the spotlight. Fixed characters that needed more health, especially in the early game. Gave Topo a DLC character that people had to pay for. No obstruction. 2 seasons later. Fixed Super Saiyan 3. He's definitely not going to be as big of an issue. Fixed Gammas. Helped Frieza. Fixed bosses. This is great. Like, I can't say this enough how great these patch notes are. And I already know someone's going to be looking at buffs on Gohan, and fucking Mina's going to be like, oh my god, Gohan didn't need buffs.
Huh?
But this is a rework. They buffed Gohan, where his passive is more important. His
Definitely.
passive actually boosts his damage now, but now he's more self-sufficient.
Huh.
He still needs to be near someone, but he's not just, okay, I'm stunning you, and then I use my skill 3, and then my teammate does all the damage, and I get an assist. He's better for team fights, which is great. Like, honestly, go test these out yourself. Go right now, right after this video, go fucking open Gekishin, okay? Open it, play some Gohan. Gohan was free. Like, currently, it's cooler. One of the best tanks is free, but before this, it was Kid Gohan. He was free, and they fixed him. Energy attack up and all defense up to self. All attack up to allies. That's great. Like, this hasn't been fixed because it maintains barrier while stopped in place and applies energy defense up to self and ally heroes within the barrier. Hold on. Energy defense up to self and ally
Hmm.
hero on activation removed. So they need to fix that. It still says that it increases his energy defense, but this is great. This is amazing. This is the best patch notes I have ever seen.